Hello. We're doing a little filming. Oh, come on. This is Tom. This is Don.
I'm Don.
Hey, Tom. Oh my God, and Shane. Hey.
What are you guys up to?
Oh, I'm just making a video.
These are two dear friends.
Oh really? What's it still on?
How many years are you all together? 5?
5.5. It'll be 6 in June.
Jim, Tom is my gym friend, and Shane is my friend.
There you go. That doesn't work out with people.
And I did a show with Shane once,
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Nobody cuts together.
Okay, are you guys gonna kill time for a little bit?
Here.
Let's.
Wait, so what are you giving these guys?
Okay, I'm giving Tom and Shane, even though they cannot attend, unfortunately. My partner Joe and I, we will have been together 30 years. In July, we're having a commitment ceremony in Costa Rica. So I have been meaning to give them an invitation. So Tom, the invitation, please. Come on, you have to be on. You have to show. No, okay. So I give it to him.
Do I have to sign a waiver?
Yes, you have to sign a waiver.
Oh,
a YouTube waiver.
Boy. Oh, you're gonna sit and play? Boy. Oh my goodness. Okay, hello.
Hello.
So I created these. I created these invitations on my computer.
Good boy.
Like rice paper.
It's like
Where did you get the pictures? Did you take them?
They're all. It's like a template on my computer
Oh, nice.
where you basically like plug in different pictures.
All right, go.
I love Costa Rica.
It's in beautiful Costa Rica,
It is.
and it's at a bed and breakfast called Sueño del Mar. A little plug. It's their first same-sex union.
It is?
To honor the commitment of
Sueño del Mar.
Joseph James Sorello and Carlos Luis Encinias at the Sueño del Mar Bed and Breakfast Beach in Tamarindo, Costa Rica on July 4th, 2008 at 4 p.m.
We were talking about Sal.
Okay, so.
Okay, so stay for a while. So I didn't really know what I was doing when I asked him out. I wrote this Valentine's card and I said, and it had I wrote a little check and it said, 1 check for dinner and, like a date or whatever. So he was totally floored. He said he did not expect that at all. And we went out and we saw each other like literally every day for the next 2 months. And I would, because I kind of hadn't made up my mind whether I was like in or out with the church. So I would definitely have these days where I was like just so depressed and but completely beside myself because I was like, I am having, and I finally experienced everything there was to experience. And
Wait.
Sexually.
That was the first?
Yeah, that was
With
the
Sally?
first time. Yeah, when I was like 27, 28 years old.
Excellent.
And yeah, it was fantastic.
Sal was my roommate.
Yeah, we're a mutual friend. But it was definitely like I was like so guilt-ridden, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? I was like, I'm going to hell. I was like, this is it. I'm like, I'm going to explode as we walk home. Or anyway.
How was your first experience though?
It was great. It was funny because like when we were in the moment and when we were together, it was sort of like, time would sort of stand still and like everything seemed very far away, like problems and issues and all this.
It was just you.
But yeah, but it was like after I would sort of start to think, even if I was just sort of by myself, I would just start to like toil over, what I was doing, and this is how I wanted my life to turn out, and I was supposed to be married and all this different stuff. And of course, on my birthday, I have this weird thing where my birthdays have been horrible until I turned like 30.
Aww.
And then they were really great after that. All one of them. Anyway, my birthday, I had like the biggest breakdown. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't be with this boy. I was like, this is wrong. This goes against everything that I've been working for. From joining the church to doing the mission and praying and fasting and going to counseling and all this stuff. I was like, this is not what I want. So I don't know if it was actually, I guess it was. I was like, Sal, you have to meet me. You have to meet me in the park. And I like cried the whole way there because I knew I had to break up with him, and I was just literally like bawling. I could hardly talk, and he's like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Did somebody die? And I was like, I just can't do this. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I'm so in love with you, and this is the most amazing thing. But it's like, this is against everything that I've worked for. I was like, I can't do this. and I was just like bawling. Oh, I guess it wasn't on my birthday. This wasn't on my birthday. I had a bad day on my birthday, that was it, but sorry, this was 2 months later, because we started dating on February 14th, so this would have been March, this would have been April 14th. I lied. But anyway, because we were in the park and it was spring and it was beautiful, and I was just bawling, and I had just started Mamma Mia, so I had my first, Broadway show, and everything was like great, but then like things just sort of started to settle in, and so I broke up with him in the park, and I called Paul, and I was like, are you in the park? And I was like, where are you? He's like, oh, Craig and I are on a date in the park. And I was like, I need you over here. And so Paul like left Craig, the guy he was dating, and he came over, and I just more tears, just bawling. And I spent I had not come out to my parents, and a lot of my friends, come here, puppy, that's the way. I had spent wasn't out to my parents and none of my friends that weren't in my circle, my close circle, and so I just didn't know what to do, and I was miserable, and so we break up and we say we're not going to talk to each other, and the next day was just terrible. It was just the biggest cloud of darkness, and by the middle of the week I kind of talked to Sal, and I was like, I just don't know what to do, and our mutual friend Dave Barris was in town. That's when he was living here, and I went to lunch with Dave, and literally when I talk to Dave, I always remind him, I'm like, you totally saved my life. And he was like, oh, but anyway, Dave is this friend of ours who was married to a girl for 7 years, and
a girl we all love.
A girl we love, and they were just the sweetest two people. And nothing really, I mean, there were some issues, but nothing really went wrong in their marriage. But he was gay, and I mean, right? I mean, when you come down to it, it was the fact that he was gay and he couldn't reconcile that, and so they were divorced. And Dave had been out of his marriage, I think I think it had been a year or two now, and I just went and I went down to the West Village, of course, and I was like, Dave, I just don't know what to do. I was like, I am so in love with this guy, but I love the church, and I have worked so hard to be, to have this spiritual life that has, that has worth and meaning. But now I'm finding that, I also found that someone that I want to have a romantic life with and experience things that I've never experienced. And what he said to me was so poignant. He said, you can't have everything no matter where you are. He said, and that was sort of my thing. I was like, well, I don't want to I think selfishly I was like, well, I don't want to date Sal if it turns out the church is right, but if the church isn't right, then I kind of wanted to get the best of everything in the sense. And he's like, if you stay in the church and somehow you cannot date any boys, he's like, you maybe will find a girl that you want to marry, and you'll explain to her the deal, and she'll be okay with that, and you get married. And he's like, but you compromise the passion that you would have with a man. And he said, on the other hand, and he said, but you have the assurity, whatever kind of assurity that really is, that you're going to heaven, and that God will reward you in the fullest way He can. He said, or you pursue this, you found someone, you're lucky enough to find someone that you're really passionately in love with. He's like, or you pursue that and you try to find God in a new way. He's like, you don't really have the assurance that you're going to the celestial kingdom, or that you're going to have riches, spiritual riches in the next life. He's like, but you have the assurity that you're in a passionate relationship that you really believe in. He's like, either way you look at it, you're not going to get both. He's like, you can't get both. He's like, I would wager that you could probably get more if you pursue a relationship with the man and try to find God in a new way, and kind of try to reteach yourself what having a relationship with God means. And